Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adisanwe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I'm Ayisha Yakubu coming up in the bulletin this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Youth Employment Agency YEA Chief Executive Officer Malik Basintale says a committee set up to review tenders as new sanitation module promises fair pay for beneficiaries.
Also coming up, another suspect has been arrested in connection with the murder of Immigration Officer Stephen King Amwa.
And President Mahama urges African leaders to implement key reforms and ensure stability to position Africa as a credible global investment destination.
Later in business, Climate Vulnerable Reef Forum joins government effort to negotiate contracts with independent power producers to create fiscal space.
In international news, 5 bodies exhumed from fresh graves suspected to be linked to Kenya's notorious starvation cult.
We have details of all these stories and more. We always love to hear from you, so do let your comments come in.
We're starting off from the courts because tempers flared at the Adabraka District Court as proceedings nearly turned violent, with some aggrieved family members attempting to attack the alleged suspects in the murder case of Immigration Officer Stephen King Amwa. Police struggled to contain the situation, having a difficult time keeping the enraged families at bay as the case resumed in court today. My colleague Lord Idwasari reports.
When the case was called, Police Prosecutor Chief Inspector Achana indicated to the court that a second accused person, Thomas Ziga, had been arrested in connection with the murder of Immigration Officer Stephen King Amwa. Lawyer for Ziga, Gordon Abuaje, pleaded with the courts to allow his client to seek medical attention at the Kolibu Teaching Hospital instead of the police hospital, which was the regular hospital for all accused persons. He explained that the suspect's condition appeared deteriorated while in custody at the railway police station. The lawyer further told the court that an independent arbiter would prevent key evidence on his client from being hidden. The prosecution opposed the prayer, indicating that Ziga had already been taken to the police hospital twice, where he was treated and discharged. He added that the allegations by counsel for the accused were baseless and urged the court to refuse his request. The court then refused the request by the lawyer for the second accused and remanded him to 2 weeks. Outside the courtroom, highly incensed family members of the deceased remained inconsolable. They made attempts to attack lawyer for the accused person, who eventually had to be escorted by the police to safety. Chaos nearly erupted after the aggrieved family members chased the accused persons who were being escorted by the police. Elder brother of the deceased immigration officer, Armstrong Amwa, prayed for swift justice in the matter.
The manner in which he murdered my brother makes the case more disheartening. We pray for a swift adjudication of the case to enable us to get closure and be at peace.
The 38-year-old immigration officer was reported missing on July 3 after leaving home to meet a friend at a Shomat estate. His partially burnt body was, however, discovered 5 days later at a Boom Junction near Kwabenya in Accra. The case has been adjourned to September 4 for continuation. Lodi Dwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, Malik Basintali, says a committee has been established to assess all tenders for a waste management service provider. He could not tell whether Zoomlion would be engaged again, but assured that beneficiaries of the new sanitation module would be properly remunerated.
The Youth Employment Agency YEA appeared before the Public Accounts Committee on Friday, where it was revealed that the agency's rent increased by 72% from 3.2 million cedis to 5.5 million cedis between 2023 and 2024. The committee questioned the silence of YEA's management over the surge in the rent payment.
Is it a building for government?
Yes, the building is for works and housing. Yes, so in 2022, we were summoned to the ministry, and then we were asked to contact K&A, which is a private company, to manage the facility because the facility is in somehow a bad shape. So after the discussion in 2023, then they brought a bill. So the bill is that if we are not able to pay, then we have to pack out and look for our own facility.
The Youth Development and Empowerment Minister, George Opari-Addo, assured that a sustainable accommodation will be worked on for YEA.
In respect to permanent accommodation for the YEA, and we are working on that. And so I believe in due time we will report to this August House what plans have been made and what facilities have been allocated to us so that the YEA can move into a more permanent premises, and then we'll do away with the rent issues.
Speaking to journalists shortly after his session, the YEA CEO Malik Basintali disclosed that some beneficiaries working under the agency have been paid their 2-month allowance arrears.
Some 5,000 persons in total of the beneficiaries we have. We have the community police assistants, prison assistants, the April model, and so many other models under us. And so those who were not at post for different reasons were not validated. And once you've not been validated, you cannot be paid. But those who were validated can confirm that as at this morning, their monies have trickled in and they've received 2 months cover.
Malik Basintale indicated that a proposal would be made to increase allowance for beneficiaries who would serve under the new sanitation module.
I would not pay any beneficiary less than the minimum wage. We are looking at having a close to 300% increment in their payments, and that is assured.
He did not state whether the Zoomlion contract would be renewed or not.
That expectation does not lie within my domain. It lies within the domain of the Tender Evaluation Committee. I am not a member of that committee, so I cannot tell whether at the end of the evaluation he can win a contract or not.
And now to issues of illegal mining. The IGP's Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force has served notice to escalate the fight against illegal mining despite extortion accusations leveled against the team by Joseph Yamin, the national organizer of the NDC. The task force confiscated 3 excavators after storming a forest in the Amansie Central District.
The Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force is staying on with their operations to clamp down on illegal mining with the view to protect forest reserves, water bodies and farmlands. From Manso-Dubia in the Amansie South District of the Ashanti region, the task force advanced its operations to Atabrakusu and Mile 9 in the Amansie Central District, where activities of illegal mining had become rife. Upon a tip-off, 38 armed police personnel stormed a nearby forest where 4 excavators were found in a mining pit, actively degrading the land. A vast section of the forest cover has also been destroyed. 3 of the excavators were seized and towed to base after the illegal miners fled the pit into the forest. However, one of the excavators was heavily stuck in mud, making it virtually impossible to be dislodged. The excavators were embossed with stickers of the Amansie Central District Assembly. The fight against illegal mining continues with renewed commitment by the IGP's men. They say that despite communal attacks and extortion accusations, they remain resolute in safeguarding Ghana's forest and water bodies. ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil debriefed his men after the operations.
We need to continue to put our best to make sure that we make the Inspector General of Police, the President of the Republic of Ghana, the people of this country proud, so that they know that with the cry of the overwhelming majority of the Ghanaian people with regards to the illegal mining that is causing destruction to our water bodies, our land and the forest reserves, that we have heard to their cry, and then finally we have been able to control the situation.
Successive governments have exhausted significant national resources in a bid to halt illegal mining to save the ecosystem, but the situation lingers and worsening. Not even Operation Halt 1 and 2, Galam Stop and Operation Vanguard, formed under the previous administration, were able to rid the pits of illegal miners. The Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force insists it is not leaving anything to chance.
Let us continue to put our best. Let the fire burn. Let's continue to put our best to make sure that at the end of the day, when the glory comes, it comes to all of us.
As the battle against illegal mining rages on, the latest operation underscores the growing determination of the IGP's task force to confront the menace head-on. With forests stripped and water bodies at risk, the success or failure of this renewed effort could prove decisive in Ghana's fight to secure its natural resources for the future generations. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News.
Staying on issues of illegal mining, and rubber plantation has become the latest target of illegal miners in the western region, with over 6 hectares of rubber plantation of the Ghana Rubber Estate Limited destroyed. A joint anti-Galamsey operation on Thursday in the Takwa municipality resulted in the arrest of 12 persons, seizures and the burning of some equipment. Irama Smith has more.
Following the devastation of cocoa farms, rubber plantations have become the latest target of illegal miners. In response to a complaint by the Ghana Rubber Estate Limited about declining production, tree uprooting and premature death due to chemical use, the Western Regional Security Council launched an anti-illegal mining operation in the Asiedu-Dartey community of the Takwa municipality. Approximately 2,000 mature rubber trees spanning 6 hectares and ready for tapping are being destroyed to make way for gold mining.
Our observation was that because of the illegal mining activities, some of the rubber plantation are being destroyed. There are areas where the production is very low as a result of the chemicals and the water which they use for the Galamsey operation.
A joint anti-Galamsey operation on Thursday, August 21, involving personnel from the 2nd Infantry Battalion, Police and National Security, was conducted smoothly in 2 separate areas, Asiedu-Dartey and Tetrim, all in the Takwa municipality of the Western region. 12 suspects, including 1 female and 11 males, were arrested. They also retrieved 2 tricycles and 1 motorcycle and destroyed 25 Shamfang machines.
And at the end of the operation, we were able to arrest 12 suspects, made up of 1 female and 11 males. We also seized 2 tricycles, and we destroyed 25 Shamfangs. We've managed to brief their internal security as to how they will be able to contain the situation.
Brigadier General Musa Waja, retired, has urged the Ghana Rubber Estate Limited to initiate dialogue with host communities, highlighting the detrimental effect of illegal mining on their operations.
There need to be more community engagement. We need to find alternative means of livelihood for those who are staying around that area. And because of the quick money, we've discovered that even the companies sometimes find problem in getting employees, for the company. So more engagement will have to be done for them to know the serious problems they are causing to this very company.
The 12 suspects, along with the seized exhibits, are currently in custody at the Agunankwanta police station pending further investigations. Irama Smith, TV3 News. Adiawoso, Takwa Insoye Municipality.
In other news this evening, President John Dramani Mahama has issued a call to African leaders, urging them to embrace critical reforms and ensure stability to make the continent a credible and attractive destination for global investment. Making his closing remarks at the plenary session of the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, President Mahama affirmed Africa's readiness for business, but cautioned that desire alone is inefficient. Presidential correspondent Komla Kluche has the following report.
Tokyo is offering itself as an alternative to China as African nations reel from debt crisis exacerbated by Western aid cuts and climate change. The United Nations head Antonio Guterres, speaking at the conference, called for greater investment in green energy across the resource-rich continent. Japanese Prime Minister Ayisha put forward his idea to set up a new commission consisting of members from the public and the private sector for both Japanese and African sides to strengthen economic ties. Japan also intends to spend $1.5 billion in public-private impact investments using JICA's private sector investment drive to finance it as a catalyst, which will make the full use of insurance to reduce business risk.
TICAD 8 pledged $30 billion for investment in Africa. I'd like to see what the audit of that would be, how much went into what. But I believe that the environment in Africa is better now at TICAD 9 than it was in TICAD 8, because now we have the African Continental Free Trade Area. We have the beginning of a basis to bring the continent together, be able to set up in one country, but have a market of 1.4 billion people instead of a market of 33 million people in Ghana.
A collaborative framework between Japan and African Development Bank will expend a maximum of $5.5 billion for infrastructure development following a unanimous agreement with the African countries at the plenary session. As Africa is hoping to capitalize on these renewed commitments from the Asian giants Japan, cooperation remains key. Japan says it will continue to play a leading role in improving the implementation of the common framework for debt treatment and enhancing debt transparency.
African challenges are closely linked with the world challenges. To solve challenges in Africa will be linked to bringing solutions to the world's challenges, including challenges for Japan. I understand that the Ubuntu spirit, a philosophy originating from the Zulu tribe in South Africa, has been passed down through generations in Africa. This is known in Japan. It means, I am because you are.
Africa will host the 10th edition of the Tokyo International Conference for African Development, TICAD. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Tokyo, Japan.
And away from Yokohama in Japan, let's come back to Ghana, where the Trades Union Congress, the TUC, is set to mobilize over 3,000 workers for a protest on August 29 to demand the cancellation of debts owed by Ghana and other African countries to international creditors. The protest, supported by the International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC, is part of a global campaign urging international creditors to ease the debt burden on developing countries.
At a news conference in Accra, leaders from the Trades Union Congress, TUC, and the International Trades Union Confederation, ITUC, expressed deep concern over what they described as unjust debt being paid by African governments. Ghana, for instance, has returned to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, for the 17th time, a move that the TUC and ITUC say reflects a deeper crisis affecting many African economies. They believe the growing debt burden has directly affected incomes of workers, public services, and overall livelihoods.
To what? The Elysee Palace. You look at the Anglophone countries still tied to our colonial past. The extraction is still ongoing. After World War II, they set up these huge banks to what? To suppress us the more and control our resources. And that is what has been happening, and that is what the IMF has been doing to us, right? So they are in the space, they are in the game to make profits, to make outrageous profits for themselves and keep us down there.
The planned march aims to put pressure on both international creditors and African leaders to adopt fairer financial practices and prioritize the well-being of citizens over debt repayments.
Today, since the debt exchange program, when we are set to negotiate, we are reminded constantly about the commitment the Ghana government has made with the international bondholders, for example. And that commitment more or less limit government's ability in terms of increases they can grant, for example. So, and our workers more or less can blame us that we didn't negotiate hard enough. But we are negotiating with a government that has more or less a binding constraint.
Let's now turn our attention to politics. 11 aspirants have picked nomination forms to contest the September 6 National Democratic Congress parliamentary primary for the Tamale Central by-election. The aspirants, after picking their forms, pledged to conduct a clean campaign.
One after the other, the aspirants took turns to pick their nomination forms. 11 aspirants, comprising 2 females and 9 males, picked nominations on the first day. Lawyer Khalid Abdul Rauf, a former Northern Regional Secretary of the NDC, was the first to pick his nomination. Dr. Saidu Mohamed Fita, a lecturer at the University for Development Studies, and Abdul Rahman Gundado, a former mayor of Tamale, followed. The aspirants were taken through the guidelines of the elections.
We expect everyone to rally behind the chosen candidate, so that at the end of the day, we present a united front that will speak volumes and that will also make a case to ensure that our departed brother rests in peace.
Some of the aspirants shared their concerns after picking their nomination forms.
As we speak, we have some constituency executives moving around with an aspirant name, trying to push a certain agenda that is not true. So all we seek is a free and fair election.
The election directorate assured the aspirants of a free, fair and transparent elections.
So more and more people, as and when they come to express interest, especially that everybody is seeing ahead that there may not be a real contest in going to parliament beyond the primaries.
The Tamale Central constituency became vacant following the tragic demise of late Member of Parliament for the constituency, Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, in a military helicopter crash.
So the process will continue on Saturday and Sunday, where the picking of nominations will be brought to a close. Well, trust your election command center to keep an eye on the processes leading to the by-election in the Tamale Central constituency. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Tamale.
The Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, says the current security threats facing Ghana and the sub-region need strategic approach and critical thinkers. She has therefore lauded the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College for introducing new disciplines which she believes would help address the current security threats.
Officers and other civilians of Senior Command and Staff Course 46 and Master of Science 2025 jointly graduated in Master of Science in Defense and International Politics and Master of Science in Security Studies. Commandant of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Brigadier General Jackson Wanji, said the college remains committed to ensuring academic excellence.
The exemplary ambassadors of your alma mater, the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, uphold the highest standards of professionalism, Integrity and service that have been the hallmark of this institution for nearly 5 decades. Apply the knowledge and skills you have acquired here to make meaningful contributions to your respective armed forces, security services, governments, and communities.
He added the college is embarking on an upgrade of its infrastructure to make it a modern institution for military and other professional training. The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman, was happy courses introduced at the college would address the security challenges in the sub-region.
The current security challenges facing Ghana and the sub-region range from climate change through terrorism, transborder crime, and more. And I'm glad to note that the college has responded to these threats by introducing new disciplines to equip our officers with necessary knowledge and skills. For instance, the introduction of the multi-domain operations and future works modules into the curriculum is timely, given the evolving nature of contemporary security threats. With the role that technology is now playing in shaping the trajectory of modern security operations in the battle space, digitization awareness and cyber security issues are also very welcome in the curriculum.
She encouraged the graduates to ensure integrity, humility, and discipline.
We continue to believe in you because we know that you have undergone the right training. Never forget that leadership demands integrity, foresight, adaptability, and commitment to the greater good.
Deserving graduates were awarded.
And now, Labadi Beach Hotel has marked its 34th anniversary in a unique and impactful way by giving back to the environment with a massive cleanup exercise.
Labadi Beach Hotel is a leading hospitality and leisure destination in Ghana. The hotel is celebrated not only for its lively coastal atmosphere, but also for the exemplary customer service, which has earned them a reputation for excellence among both local and international guests. The management and staff of Labadi Beach Hotel converge on the hotel's beachfront and surrounding areas to rid the environment of waste and plastic debris. The exercise formed part of the hotel's commitment to sustainability and community engagement. Managing Director David Eduafo emphasized that the initiative reflects Labadi Beach Hotel's values of environmental stewardship and corporate social responsibility.
In our business, hospitality, cleanliness is very important. So today we took the opportunity to clean the beach to showcase who we are and our focus on the environment and the sustainability. If you don't clean the environment and you don't ensure environmental protection and cleanliness, we will be short-lived.
A pioneer and internal auditor, Douglas Anan Asiedu, shared his experience of working in the beach.
Indeed, I was here when the first guest was checking into the hotel, and we passed through so many transitions. And we have been a leading benchmark for every other five-star hotel that comes into the system. So I'm very glad to be part of this achievement.
The cleanup exercise not only marked a milestone for Labadi Beach Hotel, but also served as a reminder of the need for continuous efforts to keep Ghana's coastlines clean. Management of the hotel says this is the first of many community-centered initiatives planned for the year.
This is News 360. Stay with us. We have some business news next.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani.
From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News, leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
You buy MTN. Touch concentrated perfume.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment on News 360. I am Menu Aful. Ghana is working with the Climate Vulnerable Forum to renegotiate its contracts with independent power producers as the country seeks to create more fiscal space. Former President of the Maldives and Secretary General of the Forum, Mohamed Nasheed, has confirmed the collaboration. The move comes as government's debt to these IPPs exceeds $1.73 billion.
The decision to renegotiate the power purchasing agreements is a critical step in addressing Ghana's energy sector debt, a long-standing issue that has strained the national budget. The Climate Vulnerable Forum, CVF's involvement, underscores a growing need in assisting vulnerable nations with economic challenges that are linked to climate change. Former President of the Maldives and Secretary General of the Forum, Mohamed Nasheed, noted energy transition with renewables should be the ultimate goal.
We are working with the government on how it may be possible to restructure independent power producing contracts that the government of Ghana has done. It's not only government of Ghana. Many of our member countries have done similar contracts with independent power producers, with power purchasing agreements, and these agreements and power producing companies have gone into difficulties, and then we should be now looking at how we may be able to restructure those IPPs as well, meanwhile bringing in renewable energy.
Given the global shortfall in funding for various projects, Mohamed Nasheed wants countries to source climate financing while being innovative.
We need to make these projects bankable. Now, to make the projects bankable, we can use the climate finance from carbon trade, from carbon exchanges. We can also use public money from the Loss and Damage Fund and other green climate funds, the vertical funds that we have on climate. So we could use those funds to make the projects bankable, and that can attract private sector investments.
The Climate Vulnerable Forum is a group of 74 countries, including Ghana, that are highly vulnerable to a warming planet. All 74 countries are located in the developing world.
Away from that, Engine Ghana Limited has officially rebranded to MISA Energy. The company says the change marks a new era of growth, improved services, and a deeper commitment to customer satisfaction across Ghana.
With over 40 branches nationwide, MISA Energy is one of Ghana's most accessible fuel and service providers. MISA Energy prioritizes fuel quality, sourcing from trusted suppliers to ensure safety and performance for all users. The managing director of MISA Energy, Brent Nate, outlined the reasons behind rebranding.
So in 2019, Engine Ghana was acquired by Moko Ghana. Since that time up to now, we decided to hold on to the Engine brand. However, in May this year, the shareholders decided to create a new identity, and that led to the MISA Energy that you see today at this beautiful service station. It's a new identity, a new brand, a new energy altogether. Within the next 12 months, we'll roll out this brand across our entire retail network. So every engine station you see in the country now will turn into a MISA Energy station. We promise our customers better quality of service, better fuel, and higher levels of innovation across the country. Right now we have 45 service stations. We have plans to expand to a higher number within the last quarter of this year into the first quarter of 2026.
The manager of Babona service station, Albert Akawawa, highlighted the additional services offered beyond fuel, including a car wash, vehicle servicing, a pharmacy, and a mat.
We've been in operation for over 18 years, and we are proud and happy that this station was used or is used as the station for the renaming of engines. We have other services like the washing bay, the mat, the lube bay, and we run the pharmacy for 24 hours. We make sure we buy from the right source. We make sure we don't mix with anything. We make sure we sell the right quantity.
Away from that also, Glyco General Insurance has presented insurance benefits to families of the victims of the August 6 helicopter crash. This gesture highlights the company's dedication to corporate social responsibility and its desire to support those in need during difficult times.
Glyco General Insurance presented a personal accident cover to the families of the two ministers. The company donated 2 million cedis to the families of the other 6 victims who were not insured with Glyco. Managing Director Andrew Echamponche addressed the media.
We cannot look after one and leave the other. And so it's important that we stand in unity, that we cover all. And so there is a donation to our fallen 8, those that did not have insurance. And there is also a payout on the policies that were given under the personal accident. And I'll encourage you all that it's important that we protect our lives. Having insurance should be part of our social fabric, that we protect our lives and protect our hard-earned investments. But one's life, unfortunately, cannot be replaced. And as Glyco, we cover the entire spectrum of insurance.
Group Chief Executive Officer Edward Fokuoche emphasized that Glyco will not abandon its customers in their time of grief.
We know that we grieve, yet we stand here with you. It is on this note that once again, on behalf of the entire group.
Let's now move your attention to the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, which has launched its human rights advocacy campaign in a bid to restore workers' dignity, ensure payment of decent wages, whilst advancing gains in the hospitality industry. General Manager of the hotel, Isaac Okpoti, said the campaign is a testament that hospitality is not just about luxury, but dignity and respect for all.
The campaign by the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel aims to offer practical solutions to some of the pressing challenges facing the labor sector. General Manager of the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, Isaac Okpoti Eje, entreated business leaders to embrace their labor practices.
Spotting risk requires vigilance. It begins with awareness, knowing that risk exists not only in distant corners of global supply chains, but sometimes within our own very backyards. It therefore requires robust due diligence processes, careful supplier assessments, transparent audits, and above all, listening to the voices of workers themselves.
Executive Director of the Legal Aid Commission, Edmond Amakwe Foley, expressed hope that the campaign would inspire lasting change.
It is therefore heartwarming that a key industry player, such as the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, would take the initiative to step out of its comfort zone and institutionalize human rights advocacy as part of its efforts to make the hospitality industry better than it is.
Minister of Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Rashid Pelput, stressed that government would continue to strengthen labour laws to ensure decent and fair wages and mutual collaboration between employers and employees.
Government will continue to strengthen labour laws to combat child labour, enforce payments of decent wages and salaries, and foster social dialogue between employers and employees. As a sector, we recognize that multinational enterprises are very important in the transformation of the economy, but not at the expense of the fundamental human rights and freedoms of workers.
The launch was under the theme Spotting and Addressing Human Rights Risks in Hospitality and Supply Chains.
We'll wrap up the business segment here, but first let's check out how the cedi is faring against other trading currencies and how some of our key commodities are also faring on the global markets. I am Menu Aful.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, Accra Hearts and Folk have been hit with a significant setback after FIFA officially imposed a 3-transfer window registration ban on the club. The punishment follows the Phobians' failure to settle a $150,000 debt owed to their former technical director, Renee Hiddink. Now, the following 3 Sports report has more.
Accra folk have reacted to the transfer ban that has been imposed on them by FIFA. Now, earlier today, FIFA issued a statement banning folk from signing players in 3 separate windows. This is in relation to some monies that they owe their former technical director, that is Renee Hiddink, who reported them to FIFA early this year. folk were given 90 days to settle the debt, but they failed to do so. In their own statement, Accra folk are saying that the ban will not affect the current squad because their player registration has already been done. But they also acknowledge how big of a development this is, and they are saying they are working closely with FIFA and the Ghana Football Association to ensure that this is resolved.
Let's stay on the local scene where Hearts of Lions defeated Asante Kotoko by a goal to nil on Friday afternoon in their second game at the 2025 Galka Top 4 tournament. Now, this means that the Porcupines have now lost back-to-back games in the competition after initially losing 2-1 to BBN Gold Stars on Wednesday. My colleague Mutala Yakubu has more.
2 defeats in 2 games for Asante Kotoko in the Galka Top 4. Just Wednesday, they lost to BBN Gold Stars by 2-1. Today, they have lost to Heart of Lions by a goal to nil. A poor AJ strike in the first half condemned the Porcupines to their second defeat, which means that Kotoko are completely out of the conversation when it comes to winning the Galka Top 4. But their fans are very confident that on Sunday, they play their final game in this tournament against their rivals, Heart of Folk. But they think that would go their way. So let's see what happens on Sunday as Heart of Folk come up against Asante Kotoko. Mutala Yakubu from the University of Ghana Stadium for 3 Sports.
Okay, so by way of update, still from the Galka Top 4, Hearts of Folk are currently playing against BBN Gold Stars. And as at the time of talking, the scoreline is at 2-2. Also in the Premier League, Chelsea are currently leading West Ham United by 3-1. And still, Manchester City would welcome Tottenham Hotspur to the Etihad Stadium on Saturday in a thrilling Premier League encounter. The match promises to be a closely contested affair, with both teams looking to make a statement. Now, Manchester City thrashed Wolverhampton Wanderers by 4-0 at Molineux, while Tottenham Hotspur dominated Burnley 3-0 at home in their Premier League season openers. Now, let's listen to the 2 managers who spoke ahead of the game.
It's too early to know, but I don't have any doubts that Thomas will do an incredible job in a big club like have done in Brentford. No doubts. Just top-class manager in different scenarios and different alternatives, how they can play, and I saw it, we suffered it when he was in Brentford.
I don't think there is a go-to system or go-to approach. That is something we are working hard on, of course, the way with our principles. I think the main thing is that we need to go there and be brave. We need to have enough spells on the ball where we can control phase 1 and 2. I think would be a big area, and then I think it's a team that has been except from last year. I think the 4 or 5 years before that, they were probably the best team in the world.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. There's more on the bulletin after the break.
and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, the newly inaugurated governing board of the National Film Authority has unveiled an ambitious plan to engage at least 1% of Ghana's population, approximately 347,000 people, as part of a renewed effort to revitalize the local film industry. At its first meeting, the board outlined a strategic focus on 2 of the industry's long-standing challenges, distribution and exhibition. The board chairman, Ivan Kwashiga, emphasized that the revival of the Ghanaian cinema depends on building strong and accessible platforms to attract both audiences and investors. Our priority is to restore confidence in the Ghanaian film industry by ensuring local content reaches audiences effectively, Mr. Kwashiga stated. The NFA is calling on the industry players, investors and partners to support its drive to develop a dynamic distribution and exhibition network, one that fuels economic growth, strengthens cultural identity and elevates Ghana's profile on the global stage. Now to some more stories. Ghanaian vlogger Clement Asamoah has advised the youth not to feel pressured by lifestyles celebrities portray on social media. Now, speaking during an interview on Trend hosted by AJ, he encouraged young people to believe in themselves and appreciate what they have.
The fact of the matter is people are pressured. You know, I don't know why people feel there is the need to prove something. You don't have to prove anything, okay? Life is simple, okay? Life is very simple. If you have what you can eat, where you lay your head, that should be enough for you. If God blesses you and you land a deal and you get a car, fine. If you don't have a car, fine. It's okay. If you have a Lamborghini, fine. If you have a Toyota Vitz, fine. You understand? You all move at the end of the day. What matters is you get the chance to live and then try again. If you fail today, you try again and try again. Don't be pressured by someone bought a car, someone traveled here. Hey, look at the first class. First class. See, you get involved in a whole lot of things that are unnecessary. If you look at some of the stories, right, there's this tech buddy that is involved in this same Nana Kwabena Umwa that has dragged Shatawale along and all that. The girl is a student, right? Ask yourself, what is a student doing with over $700,000 US? It's just because she wanted to travel around the world. But listen, you school in the UK. People are schooling in and what have you.
But you are there.
So appreciate what you have. I mean, be content with what you have. That's.
And before we go, I'd like to remind you that come Sunday, 8 p.m. on TV3, we go live with another episode of Ghana's Most Beautiful. Make sure you're voting for your favorite contestant by dialing *713*13# to keep them in the competition. My name is Noella Donko. Do have an amazing weekend.
I'll bring you international news.
5 babies have been exhumed from fresh graves suspected to be linked to Kenya's notorious starvation cult. In one of the worst ever cases of cult-related mass deaths, more than 400 bodies were found in 2023 in the remote Shakahola Forest, island from the coastal town of Malindi. It is believed they were followers of self-proclaimed Pastor Paul Mackenzie, who is alleged to have encouraged them to starve themselves to death. Nigeria has deported dozens of foreigners, including 50 Chinese nationals, in a major crackdown over the last week on one of the largest foreign-led cybercrime syndicates. They are among the 192 foreigners arrested during a sting operation in Lagos last Friday. According to the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, Nigeria is notorious for internet fraud and romance scamming is rife. Cybercrime cases were amongst the most prevalent offences in Nigeria last year. The United States of America is reviewing the records of more than 55 million U.S. visa holders to assess if they have broken conditions for entry or stay in the country. A State Department spokesperson told the Associated Press news agency that people with U.S. visas will be under continuous vetting. An official said visas will be revoked if there are indications of overstays, criminal activity, threats and public safety, engaging in any form of terrorist activity, or providing support to a terrorist organization. President Donald Trump has made anti-immigration the cornerstone of a second administration, from mass deportations and full-on travel bans.
And that's it for our package this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. Enjoy your weekend.